I think I'm streaming now. Let me check. Actually, let me check YouTube directly. Let's see. Am I live? Yes, it looks like I'm live. Okay, awesome. Hey everyone, this is Michael from Hummingbot, and I'm streaming live from the podcast studio at Mountain Dow in balmy 50-degree Salt Lake City. Really excited about today because I'm going to present our new LP strategies. For a long time, Hummingbot has always supported centralized exchanges like Binance and Coinbase. Over the past year, we've also been extending into Ethereum and Solana DEXs like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Meteora, and Radium. And one of the reasons we did so is because those exchanges, while they're structured very differently from order book exchanges, they're quite important in the crypto world because they serve as the first exchange where new tokens are created. Nowadays, most tokens are they're created on some blockchain like Ethereum or Base or Solana, and usually the first exchange that they're listed on is an exchange like Meteora. So Meteora it's an AMM type exchange where you can set positions in a pool and provide liquidity and earn fees for providing liquidity. So because of that, like for instance, here's a position I was just testing. This is a it's an LP position, a Sol USDC pool, and currently it's out of range. But when the price was inside this range, I was earning fees. So basically, I think these kind of exchanges are really good if you are interested in providing liquidity for, let's say, meme coins, new ownership coins like the ones that Metadata is issuing, or basically any type of new asset. So for me, as a market maker, these are actually these are kind of exchanges I like participating in because I like to invest in new tokens and then place them and trade them in pools like this. So that's why for us it was important because Hummingbot is a market making framework to be able to support these types of exchanges, but also do so in the context of an automated trading framework like what Hummingbot is, because then that gives you the ability to do all kinds of strategies. You can create LP strategies directly on exchanges like Meteora. You can hedge your exposure on Binance, and really any type of sophisticated strategy you can think of, you can now build with Hummingbot. But the other thing I want to show you today is how to actually automate a strategy on one of these exchanges using the new abstractions that we have available in Hummingbot. I'll show you how to do so the traditional way, which is through the Hummingbot CLI client. But I'm also going to try to, fingers crossed, show you how to do so using AI. In the last few weeks, because I think a lot of people are talking about these AI-based agents like OpenClaw, talking to each other on Moltbook, and it turns out that the structure of that server is actually quite similar to the way that Hummingbot works. Just like OpenClaw is like a personal AI agent server, you can think of Hummingbot API as like a personal trading server. And just like OpenClaw, we can create an MTP server that helps you utilize the power of the API, as well as individual skills, which do like one single task using the API. So we've created a couple initial versions of this. We just launched skills.hummingbot.org. Right now, there are only 2 skills on there. One is a skill that helps you deploy the Hummingbot API, the MTP server, and everything you need to get started using AI with Hummingbot. And the second one is what I'll show you today, which is called LP Agent, which is a skill that utilizes the LP Executors that we have in order to deploy some type of strategy. So basically, it's like an agent that helps you manage that strategy for you. So I'll try to live stream this over the next half an hour or so. First, I'm going to show you how to do so using the traditional way. So Hummingbot has been around for 7 years. So we have an established user base of market makers, individual traders, and everyone like that. So we first of all, we want to be able to serve the existing user base because we have many people who have been trading Hummingbot who are doing so on centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges. So we want to make sure that first of all, any new strategy we write can be run in the Hummingbot client. But then afterwards, hopefully, I'll show you how to do so using AI as well. All right, well, let's get started. If you have any questions, please post it in the YouTube chat, and I'll try to monitor it and respond in time. So yeah, anything goes. Just drop your questions in the chat, and I'll get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I will show you how to run this LP, run an automated LP strategy using Hummingbot in the traditional way. So first we're going to start Hummingbot. So I have Hummingbot right here, and I can use the start command. There's also a quick start where I can just start the strategy right away, but I'll show you guys kind of like the normal kind of way to do so. So inside the Hummingbot client now, first of course I want to check that my the gateway is online. So gateway is the middleware that we use to integrate the DEXs. So I have it running from source over here, but if you kind of like you're using Hummingbot, you can probably just kind of like you can use. There's also a Docker-based way of starting the two services together. So first, let me check my balances. Make sure I have enough assets in order to trade. And it looks like I do have something like 0.7 Sol and about 50 USDC on Solana. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demo a strategy, and we'll basically what the strategy do is a pretty simple one. It will simply try to allocate, basically create a position in a pool, and once the position's out of range, it'll take the assets it has and it'll just create a single-sided position, right next to the price. So basically, let's say that the current price, let's say in Sol USDC, is about I think 83 right now. So the first thing it'll do is it'll create either a Sol position or a USDC position. So if we start with 0.2 Sol, it'll create a position that looks something like this, based on a certain percentage width from the current price up to 0.5% above the current price. Alternatively, you can also add a USDC range. Let's say I add USDC. So alternatively, I can also put a position below the current price. If I deposit a single-sided 20 USDC range below the price, it'll basically put something like basically 0.5 or 0.6% below the current price. So these are the inputs that we'll enter into our strategy. We call this a controller in Hummingbot, and the reason is because it deploys a Docker container and it tries to deploy different executors that are involving each position. This level of abstraction allows you to kind of manage multiple positions at once and can create more sophisticated bots. But for today, we'll just start with one single executor on one single pool. So first, let's define the inputs for our controller. 1 second is I want to just address one question before I proceed. There's a question from the code Kyodalia. Can we expect a video of new executors directly on Hummingbot API without needing a separate Docker service when strategies directly happen on API? Yeah, actually, if you watched the video last week from the Fede did, which is what I think called dynamic order book initialization, it actually already shows how to do this. So the executors service is relatively new on Hummingbot API. I believe it actually was just recently merged in like a week ago. So after that PR was merged, now you can deploy these executors directly from the API without needing a controller. So what I'll show you, there's kind of like there's two levels of abstraction that we have in Hummingbot. The executor is something that does one complete task. So as a start and end, for example, opening a position and then closing it. And then the controller can manage multiple executors and then run them inside a Docker container, and is meant for like a long-running task. For example, you have a trading strategy that you want to run for multiple days. So what I'm going to show you is how to first I'll deploy the controller and the LP executor the traditional way, and then afterwards I'll show you how to do so directly using MCP and using skills. Okay, so let's go ahead and set the configuration that we want for our strategy. So I picked the most liquid, smallest bin step pool in Sol USDC because I want to show some activity. Normally, if I were me, I would probably pick a wider pool and pick wider ranges. But for the purpose of the demo, hopefully I want to get some rebalancing in. So I'm going to try to create a very narrow position in a very liquid pool. So first, we need a pool address, which is this right here. So I'm going to take this pool address and I'll put it into the configuration that I have for the controller, which is this configuration right here. You can create this using Hummingbot. This typically lives in the conf controllers folder. So this is my thing. So I have the trading pair, the pool address right here, which is I already have. And I also need the trading symbols. These symbols, if you just make sure this matches the pool address, this is needed because Hummingbot uses symbols to fetch prices. And so if you have the trading pair here, it'll make sure that Hummingbot can get prices for these assets correctly. So here, this is where we define the assets that we want put in. I think I'll start with a 0.2 Sol range and no USDC. So that means that it should set a single-sided position above the price. And finally, this is where I set the position width. So I'll set a 0.5% position width, which means that over here, it should try to create like a 0.5% asset. So I wanted to rebalance if the position goes out of range. So if the position goes out of range for more than 60 seconds, what the strategy will do is it will close the position and it'll try to place a new one, basically 0.5% above or below the current price. So because what happens is when the position goes out of range, it becomes either 100% base asset or 100% quote asset. And so that's kind of like you're always kind of, and this strategy is always taking whatever assets it has and putting it back into the pool. And then we have another two parameters. These are the price limits. So what this is saying is if the price ever goes below 80, then just stop kind of placing and creating executors. And if the price goes above 85, also stop selling, essentially. Stop placing more executors to sell Sol. So this kind of acts as like a natural, like this is very similar to the price ceiling and the price floor parameters that we had originally for order book based strategies. And then finally, I have a strategy type here. This is really from Meteora because Meteora you can place distributions that are either kind of flat, which is strategy type 0, or you can have like a bid ask strategy type or like a curve strategy type. For today, we'll keep it simple and just use a flat, horizontal distribution for the strategy type. Okay, so now we can just save those configurations, and then in Hummingbot, let me exit again and start again to make sure we're loading the correct configs. Check our questions. Okay. We've already added a bunch of executors into the API. So I believe positioned executors are available, great executors. I just added LP executors in a pull request. So we are currently kind of trying to standardize all the executors. We actually may even remove a few and add the functionality into other ones because we want to be able to have an AI agent who's trying to decide which executors to create to be able to know exactly what they're doing. But I would say, if there's any kind of like trading pattern that you're looking for that's not available, you can also let us know because the idea behind these executors are they're meant to be kind of a commonly repeated like a tasks that a trader may need to perform. For example, creating position, adding a stop loss so that the position, if it hits a stop loss, will automatically close. I think the position executor already does that. But if there's other things you want to do, like TWAPing, TWAP, DCA, those are also available as executors. Okay, so now that we're ready to run our strategy, I'm gonna run it like this because I've added the configuration for the strategy in a script. So I'll do it like this, and then so what this should do is this should basically deploy this strategy right here and start placing ranges into the Sol pool. Okay, so it looks like it was created according to the logs. We can also check here in Meteora, and here is our position. So it's already trading like this. It's already earning some fees. And as you can see, because this is a very narrow position and a very liquid pool, the price is going to move around a lot, and we're going to be earning fees consistently if the price is in range. So you can check it with Hummingbot. You can basically do Control T to remove the log pane, and then use Control S status to see what this is like. Actually, there's already a problem. I should probably stop. I realized that since today the prices have been going up, I'm actually already above my upper limit here. See, so what this means is that if the strategy is not going to chase, it's not going to keep on selling Sol as the price goes up. So actually, because I do want it to rebalance, I do want to show you guys some rebalancing. So I'm actually going to stop this, and I'll increase the upper bound on the price so it'll caption. So when you stop it, it will automatically close the position. So I think, let's see, should have closed. Okay, it may have some, it may have some issues closing because looks like it's still stuck. So sometimes because priority fees, especially in times of congestion, like yesterday and today, there might be issues, kind of closing transactions. So in this case, what happens is Gateway should retry after a certain period of time. So let's give it some time and let me see if it actually does the retry successfully. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, it looks like I need to probably do a bit more here. Let's see, the position's still closed. So I'm gonna close this one manually, but yeah, I'll try to address this a little bit later. Oops, okay, actually, no, looks like it already closed. Okay, got it, yeah, so it did actually close successfully over here. So yeah, see, so it usually after, I think about 60 seconds, if it can't close, it'll continue to try retrying and make sure that it processes the transaction. All right, so let me go ahead and increase this upper limit to 90. Good, the price is recovering today after the bloodbath that happened over the past couple of days. So now our price range is from 80 to 90. I'll start Gateway again, make sure that we're of a clean instance of Gateway, and then I will then start the strategy again. This time I'm going to start the strategy using the quick start command. This skips the password and just gets you right into the strategy. So yeah, basically, I have it saved, but basically it's been, I'm going to quick start with your passphrase and the script file and the script configuration. So yeah, so let's see, we should see it opening right now. Yep, looks like it is. It looks like it is. Okay. It looks like the chain is big. So sometimes what I might do is it looks like we're seeing a higher congestion on the chain level. So in this case, actually, I'm probably going to increase the priority fee. I think to make it even faster, because right now I'm actually using a one land port CU, but I might actually need to increase the priority fee to get these transactions resolved. So looks like it's still trying to add the position. Let's see if it retries, and if it fails to retry, I may have to stop and increase the priority fee. Okay, send the transition again. It's okay. So this time, after the second time, it did retry successfully. So we should have opened the position, and here we go. So now we are trading and actively providing liquidity on Meteora. So now let's go back to Hummingbot. Check the status again. So yeah, now it's because the price limit is 80.90. It'll continue to provide liquidity in this range. You can always type status live to get basically to have a refresh status, and I'll show you kind of where the asset is. Okay. Actually, there is a bit of a bug here. I realize because right now it doesn't realize there's a position. I think because after the retry, it it messed up. So let me stop this. This is actually probably an edge case. I need to add to the executor in order to make sure that even if it retries and it successfully places the position the second time, that it actually identifies that it has a position. So yeah, so let me close it. I think I probably need to close that position. Oh, okay, great. It is. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna close this manually, and then I'll run that again. So as you can see, a lot of the system it's a bit of a work in progress. We're gonna have this LP Executor functionality and the LP controller in the next release of Hummingbot, which is I believe end of this month. So they'll give us another few weeks to polish this up and make sure that it works under a variety of scenarios. So before we do that, I'm gonna exit, and I'm gonna increase the priority fee a bit. It looks like I can. Looks like it's a fairly congested time in the market. So I'll do it manually. There's also a way to do it in the client, but I'll just do it manually here in Gateway. 1 second. 1 second. I'll switch over to that. Okay, so let's increase the priority fee. I'll do 2, just for demonstration purposes. I'm also going to use, I think I'm also going to use the Helios RPC node. Basically, just not use WebSocket, but just use the direct REST polling for confirmation. That should make it more, I think, a little bit more easier to see exactly what's going on. So, all right, I'm going to restart Gateway. All right, so Gateway is restarted. And then now I will, I'll just try running again and see. Let's see, positions, no positions created. All right, let's try it again. Okay, let's see, it's polling. Okay, it's this time I'm polling for confirmation instead of using REST or WebSocket. Yeah, it's still very congested time. Looks like it's like let's see, what's QuickNotes saying? QuickNotes actually is not saying it's on high, but apparently I'm not. A lot of transactions just aren't going through. But let me see if the second time goes through. Yeah. Okay, let's try again. Oh, actually, it is. Okay, now it did actually go through. But let's see. I think the client is gonna. I'm not sure I actually picked it up. Okay. Actually, that is working now. So yeah, this time it is monitoring the position. So if I do status live, it's going to monitor the position, and then if the strategy goes out of range, it will attempt to rebalance. So you can see some diagrams here. See, right now it's out of range. It's below the price, and after the 60-second timer is up, it will close the position and place it again 0.5% above the current price. So this one here shows you where the price is as a function of your entire price range. This table basically, actually, this is a good time to explain what it's actually doing. Let me check questions and answer any questions, and Um, okay. Okay, so maybe as it's running, let me kind of explain a little bit what it's actually doing here. So one thing we're trying to do with Hummingbot is create something called an executor. So the executor is a sort of like a self-managing, um, almost like a miniature bot, and its role is to do one complete task. And one complete task might be opening an LP position, sending information about it back to the mother controller, and then closing it after it's out of range for a certain amount of time. So an executor is designed to kind of like have a start and an end. And the reason we created this abstraction is because there's many kind of tasks that you kind of want to automate. And ideally, you want the controller or an agent or some higher level entity focused on the higher level tasks, like trying to figure out when to deploy an executor, checking market conditions, and then just making sure that executors are doing their job correctly, as opposed to worrying about the low level tasks like which API endpoint to call, retrying if the initial one fails, and those kind of things. So the design of this is designed to essentially allow the executors are basically individual kind of tasks, and the controller manages these executors. So that's why the controller, here we're only managing one executors, but the controller can actually have many different executors that it's trying to manage. It can look at different pools and say, okay, let me create one here, let me create one here, and then basically those will kind of self-close after a certain amount of time. So as you can see, what happened here was this first executor was terminated because after it went out of range. After 60 seconds, the controller closed it and then opened a new one, which is running right now. This current one is also out of range, and so what we should see is if it continues to be out of range for 60 seconds, it would rebalance. What happened just now was it went back into the range, so that means it would have to go back out for another 60 seconds before the controller closes and opens again. So yeah, you can see it, and you can see it act like usually I would not recommend kind of like doing like an HFT strategy, because typically you're taking a lot of impermanent loss and you're also paying fees to open and close. But for demo purposes, that's why I set a very tight range here to be able to demo the rebalancing. So yeah, as you can see, we only have a small amount of assets here. It's really as a demo, but you can see all the stats that it's getting here for here. So what I recommend if you want to test this, just test it with something like $10 worth of assets, and you should be able to see it automatically placing and opening positions. And once you're comfortable, then you can increase the amount of capital. So if you want to test it out, there's already a pull request out there with the controller and the executor. So feel free to try it out. We've mainly tested it on Meteora so far on Solana, but this is designed to work on any exchange that supports the COMM standard. So Orca and Radium on Solana as well as PancakeSwap and Uniswap on EVM networks. All right, so let me stop this, because the more exciting part of the demo today was to show you how you can use executors in generally and in the new kind of AI-based approach that we have. All right, so I stopped the executor. Let me check that it closed position. It did. And then, one final thing is that you can use the new LP. Okay, actually, yeah, I should run this, but we're gonna add a new command here into the client to help you figure out the performance of LP positions, because the traditional history command only looks at trades. But there's a new command called LP history that tracks the closed positions and helps you understand your performance relative to those positions. Okay, so so now let's go into the AI-based way of doing things. Let me check for questions. Let's see. Yeah, well, so Cody, just answer your question. Yeah, I actually do think we probably could have kind of turned Hummingbot into like an API and made it kind of a more developer friendly a long time ago. Yeah, I think overall, yeah, because we kind of started. It was initially Hummingbot started as more of like a tool for a single purpose, which was just providing liquidity to the miner platform, which was like an exchange for market makers we created initially. So over the past 4 years, now that we're open source, we've been trying to really make Hummingbot an open framework, have it support many different strategies and exchanges, and so yeah, like, I think now because we have a sustainable business model with our educational platform Botcamp, I think we're really fully diving into kind of making Hummingbot leading edge, work with the latest AI frameworks and tools, and try to basically allow you guys to basically use AI like we do, to really expose the power of Hummingbot. All right, so the first thing is I would say that if you want to start with AI, I think the best place you can do is use this skill. I really like skills because skills it's a recent kind of a website that Vercel created, and basically you can just find all kinds of skills, and you can import them into your AI clients. So we've already added a few. The one I recommend starting with is called Hummingbot Deploy. So you can access it either via the skills.sh repo like this. You can just copy this command and put it into your machine. We also created just like a Hummingbot specific version at skills.hummingbot.org with basically the same thing. And so you can just go to either site. They have the same content. Basically, just copy this command and run it on your command line. So, for example, if I do like this, if I add the Hummingbot deploy skill, it will basically ask me, which, it finds a skill from our GitHub and asks you which agent do you want to install it on. So I pick the agent that I have, which is like Claude Code or Gemini, and then it asks you if you want to install it on a project level, which is just for that one folder, or on a global basis. So I'll install it globally like this, and then like that. So once you do so, you can run the skill in Hummingbot. So let me go ahead like this and run it. So now if you go to Claude and I look at my skills, I see I have some user skills, and one of them is indeed Hummingbot Deploy, and I also have the LP agent skill that I installed earlier. So to use skill, all you have to do is just say deploy Hummingbot like this. I think because I already have everything set up, so it shouldn't do anything. But let me try it anyway. Let's see what it does. Okay, so it says, do you want to use a skill? Hummingbot Deploy, and I'll say yes. Yeah, just try it out. So the deploy skill is intended to help you just get set up, because in order to use the API, first you have to install the API, and then you also should install the MCP server, which is like the interface for the API that tells your AI agent how to use it. So basically it's gonna do a few things. First, it will check the environment that you have and make sure that you have Docker, you have the right kind of like dependencies, and it'll update them if they don't. And then also it'll check if you already have API installed, which I already have here. So I think it should say I already have API. I'm gonna skip that step. And then yeah, this part here is when it actually runs. I'm actually already running it over here. So I'm actually, I will do this. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to proceed because I already have a setup. I don't want to break anything. But basically, if you run this skill, it should actually help you with the installation process for all the components you need to get up and running. So yeah, I've already done this. So I'll just dive right into demo. One question, which is, would be great to have a dev or test license on this API. Some of these monthly costs are huge. Yeah, what I would say is, I think it really depends on which AI you want to use. You can even try this with the local model, like if you download like Kimi, 2.5. I think I've actually heard a lot of good things about some of the latest open source AI models out there. So I would recommend something like Claude, because Claude is really optimized for coding tasks. And I think even in the free plan, you should be able to get a decent amount done. And also, this is also one reason why I think you should try to use the the MCP server if you can, because the MCP server already contains information that tells your AI agent how to use the API. So what that means is your agent doesn't have to spend tokens, spend money, looking at the API endpoints and figuring out the schema and understanding how to call them. Instead, it can just use the tool which has information on how to use these endpoints, and it'll save you a lot of tokens. So now that I have the MCP server, let me just check. You can see that I have the local Hummingbot MCP. And then now I can say something like, what Hummingbot tools are available. I'll make this a bit bigger. So it's going to be a list of tools, and you can see using these tools will be a much more pleasant experience for you and your AI assistant than kind of calling these endpoints directly. It is running. Oh, actually, let me make sure it's running. Okay. All right. Now the API is running. You could always go to localhost 8000 and docs and call each of these API endpoints directly. But as I mentioned, you're gonna have to understand how they all work, and it's a lot of token usage for your agent. Instead, if you use these tools already understand how API endpoints work, and they'll be much better at doing so. For example, let me say fetch, what does my portfolio look like? So here it's calling the portfolio tool, and it's going to give me an overview of the tokens I have saved across the wallets in Gateway. So here I think I have an ETH wallet and a Solana wallet. So it's gonna show me the assets I have. All right. So now let's go ahead and instead of deploying a bot like the controller and the executor, let's just deploy the LP Executor directly. Okay. So first, let me see what executors are available, and this should tell me kind of which ones the API actually has available. Okay, so I can deploy a position executor, which is placing a position on a spot or perpetual order book exchange with self-managing take profit and stop losses. I can do a DCA on an order book exchange to kind of build up a position. I think there's also a TWAP executor here somewhere, but that's fine. Or I can do a grid executor, which is like a more kind of like a more sophisticated version of the position executor, where it's placing a grid of orders on order book exchanges. And then finally, we have the LP executor that I just added. So these first four are aimed at order book exchanges. The LP executor is aimed at AMM exchanges like Meteora. But in the future, we're probably going to even add even more types, depending on different trading abstractions that the community wants. Okay, so let's deploy an LP executor. So let's just say deploy an LP executor. So the first time you do this, what it'll do is it'll ask you some questions, because it'll help you understand what are the inputs that go into creating executor. For example, the trading pair, the exchange, and so forth. This process, because it has some basic understanding of how this executor works, it should also help you understand what these terms are and help you understand the implications of them. So yeah, let's go ahead and pick Sol USDC. Pick the DEX I'm going to use, which is Meteora, and I can select whether I want single-sided, or double-sided. And so you can see it tries to explain a little bit here, because we've added some explanation on what a single-sided range and a double-sided range here is, so it knows how to do it. Let me just check my wallet balances real quick to see what I have. Let's see, I have USDC and Sol here. So let's go ahead and do. Let's see, should I buy or sell? Market's going up, so yeah, let's buy some some USDC to a single-sided USDC range, and I will submit my answers. So now it should also it should now kind of like find the price, find the pools, and try to help you figure out which pool to deploy your LP executor in. Okay, so here's some pools we can use. So yeah, it gives you how many pools. Let's do 10 USDC. Oops. Okay, 10 USDC. But on the we'll pick the same pool we did before, which is this address. So on the Sol USDC pool, and then I'll say 0.5% below current price. Okay, so yeah, this part basically is asking you, which USDC, which price you want to put. So let me submit my answers. So hopefully it will now go ahead and place the same type of LP executor that it did before when we were using the CLI. So I'm just problem creating the executor for some reason. I think I don't know why it's still strange. Huh. This was working 2 seconds ago. I don't know why it's not working now. It's still odd. Okay. Yeah. I think it did create it before, and it failed to check for some reason. But yeah, it did actually create the executor successfully. So yeah, we may have to just make sure that it can, do the right check after it creates one. But yeah, it is actually created. So let's see if actually it was created. Let's see. Yep. Here's our position that it created. It was indeed, I believe, about $10 worth of USDC, and I think it did create it 0.5% below the price. And let's see what it says. Okay, so yeah, it is being created. So we just as a warning, we do have a bit of work to make sure that the executors work correctly with both the traditional CLI as well as with the MCP server. But I promise you, we'll try to get all that done in the next few weeks before the next release. So one good thing about using the MCP server, I think, is that because it has some basic understanding of both the API structure as well as kind of the executors, it can kind of like do checks, So I think to me the best advantage of using AI with doing trading bots like this is that there's just a bunch of edge cases that it's hard to kind of like address deterministically, because when you run like the CLI based approach, you have to basically account for any possible thing that can go wrong. But because the AI agents are more probabilistic, it can kind of do things the normal way. And if it doesn't realize if it doesn't, even if it's kind of like something's off, it can just check the API endpoints and make sure that it's doing it correctly. So now that it's actually running it, so I can say what's the status of my executor. All right, so it's running. This is what we need to make sure the status is updated. Right afterwards. So yeah, it was. I think the status is actually running. And you see here's executor, here's my holdings, and here's a fee. So basically, this is the same information that was previously available, in the CLI, but now it's just now the API, now the agent can just call the API directly and then open the executor, figure out the status, monitor it, and also then close it. All right, so let's stop the executor, and then now as a final demo, I'm going to try to utilize the LP Executor skill to try to fully automate this process. Okay, so it stopped the executor, and let's see if it actually did close it. It's shutting down. Let's see. Let's check gateway. What is it doing? Yeah, this part actually we may need to fix a little bit because looks like it's not actually. I don't see a transaction actually being sent here. Yeah. Okay. So more. I do think this is yeah. I might need to improve the close position here. Let's see. This was yeah. This was the original open. So I don't see I don't see it trying to send a close. All right. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Okay. It closed it manually using the gateway endpoint tool. So yeah, this is kind of the fallback if the executor doesn't go. Let me see, did it go through? Let's see, and I think the chain is congested a bit. So let's try again. Let's see, close it again. Send the transaction polling. Okay, still not closed. Still not landing the transaction. The chain must be very congested right now, or there must be a spike. Yeah, it looks like priority fees are spiking, so that's why we're having some issues closing at the current priority fee level. I'm already using I think 2 million micro LAN ports, so it's pretty high. I could increase it, but yeah, this is and I think actually another good another reason to use AI is that I think the AI can handle these kinds of situations better. As you can see, it's trying to close it, and even though it can't land the transaction, it knows that it hasn't completed yet, and it's going to try to retry and everything. Okay, so it's closing again. Let's see, send the transaction. Okay, so this time it finally confirmed, and the position was indeed closed. Let's see. Yep, it was closed. So yeah, we'll probably try to improve this kind of like like how it retries. Maybe have it automatically increase the priority fee. Get the estimate from the chain. But I think to me, these kind of handling these edge cases, this is where AI really shines, and because it's hard to just cover every single edge case in the previous deterministic way. All right. So now that we've understood how to use executors the normal way. We can start and stop executors using the MCP server. Now let's go to the final boss, which is creating a real agent that's going to do things automatically for us. Now, fair warning, I have not tested this at all because last couple of days I was just trying to get the basic executor running and incorporating the LP server. But I did ask Claude to create an LP agent skill. And this skill should be using the MCP server to deploy executors and then basically do what the controller was doing before, but by doing so inside an AI managed process. So let's review the logic for the LP agent first, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to work perfectly. So I think the best I can do today is give you a preview of what it will work, what it will do once we fix all the issues and iron out all the hijinks. So this is basically the same logic that we had before in the controller. So the first thing it'll do is it finds the right pool. Basically finds a pool that you want to do, and it'll create the LP position. This is going to use a tool. So just like the tool, it will kind of ask the questions and everything for you. So there's kind of this is where it's managing the executor. First, it'll try to create the executor, confirm that it was actually created, and then monitor the position. So yeah, there's kind of couple of like things here. For example, before the creating position, the agent should check that the pool exists. Make sure we get the info from the pool. Warn the user if they're trying to create a position that's too wide for Meteora. And then now it's going to kind of set the default preferences for the executor. And then finally, once it sets them, it'll monitor the positions. Once the positions are created, it will then rebalance the positions in the same way that we did earlier. So basically, if the pool is out of range, it'll wait for 60 seconds, and they'll try to place the liquidity back as a single-sided range. So here are the steps for rebalancing. So as you can see, this is a very easy to understand document. This is just a markdown file. The only other thing currently in this skill is a script that just checks for the prerequisites. So if we look at the actual skill, what's actually in the folder, you can see it's just the markdown file, the same one that we just went over, and there's a scripts folder with a check prerequisites script that just to make sure that you have the API running, you have gateway running, and all those things. So let's go ahead and run the skill, and we'll see what it actually does. So I will start a new instance of Claude. Like this. Okay, so I'll say deploy an LP agent. All right, so it's going to use the LP agent skill. It will check the prerequisites using the script. Then it checks my wallet balances, make sure that it can tell me exactly, it can recommend like a position size based on my wallets. And then now it'll go through the logic of that markdown file and try to help you find a pool and create an LP executor in that pool. Actually, this part I can probably skip this part. I think because yeah, I'm not sure I need to find all the pools in Meteora. Yeah, we can probably streamline this first part and just ask the user, right away for which one to use. So yeah, let's go ahead and try again. I'll use the same pool I did before. So we're going to use this pool here. Okay, and then we'll use 10 USDC, and then we will use a quote only range below the price. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, now it's yeah, this makes it so now it's gonna yep, okay. So it's gonna set the price range, narrow price range, just below the current price, and yeah, let's see what it does. Okay, it created the executor just like last time. Let's see if it actually did create it. Okay, it was actually created. Yeah, this we probably need to make sure this opening state flips right away. Let's see. Here's our position. It's earning fees. Yeah, so yeah, this is where it's. I'm pretty sure it should transition to in range. Actually, I think I might have to add something to automatically check and flip it to in range, but we'll see after a while. Yeah. This part we should fix this. This should be a pretty easy issue to fix before the next release, so it won't kind of like have to do all these checks. But basically, yeah, it's already created. Status is in range. It's earning fees, and yeah. So now it should actually be continuing to do this. Yeah, we may have to add some instructions to the agent to like actively monitor. So let's see, continue using the skill. I'll be more explicit. Agent skill. Aren't you supposed to be monitoring the position? Okay, you're absolutely right. Claude's glazing my bot, and it's going to yeah, it's gonna do that. Okay, all right. So I need to confirm the rebalancing parameters. Okay, 60 seconds. Yeah, let's wait 60 seconds to rebalance. Range width should I use for rebalance position? This should actually use the same initial position width. All right, so now it's going to start the monitoring loop. I'll probably add this agent skill to make that more explicit and tell it to start the monitoring loop after creating the position. So see now it's position out of range. As we can see, yes, it is out of range. And so now it's going to start that 60-second countdown, just like we did in the controller. So as it's going, I think it's a good time to talk about, kind of like when should you use, these agent-based approaches, and when should you do things the old-fashioned way and deploy a controller or an executor. Um, uh, the way we think about it is, I think there's room for both, because the controller approach is more deterministic. It's gonna you may need to make sure it's like handle more edge cases, and to try to have it run for a long time. It's kind of meant to be deployed as a Docker container, on a server and run for a long time. This kind of like agent-based executor approach, I think, is meant for kind of like common workflows where it's like quick and dirty. You can create a skill for almost anything, or you can just use the MCP server directly using your agent and just hit any of the API endpoints you want and kind of have a guide that walks you through it. So the way I think about it is, I think the skill in the MCP server is really good for kind of like the average user. And I think over time we'll have a lot more skills that are doing that. So actually let's make sure that it actually does rebalance correctly, because it just triggered the rebalance timer, and it should be closing the position and then reopening it. This is where we probably need to try to improve this part. It looks like it did actually close the transaction. Let's see. It closed. Okay, yeah, it closed the transaction, and then it will now try to reopen the position. Again, yeah, I think there's something. Oh, actually, never mind. The closing is back in range, right? Okay, so now it's back in range. I guess it didn't close it, but now we're earning fees again. So I think hopefully this gives you a sense for how the agent is going to operate versus the controller. But I think we have a bit of work to do to make sure everything is smooth. But as you can see, it's already doing its job, which is monitoring the position. It's tracking if the position goes out of range, and it's going to automatically close and reopen the position after it's out of range for more than 60 seconds. So as I mentioned before, I think that these kind of skills are a good way to kind of like create common workflows that use the API or the MCP server, and you can package them into a variety of different things. So we currently have only 2 skills right now. The one that I would recommend using is the deploy Hummingbot skill. We've been testing this one a bunch, and I think this skill is already easier than trying to install these things like manually. Basically, this is kind of like this skill is meant to do the same thing as the Hummingbot deploy repo. So basically, there's this install script here. This is a script that you would just run on your machine. And this should also set everything up. But there might be some cases where you have a weird system or something like that, and it doesn't quite work. And so we basically create like a more like AI assisted version over here, which is the skill. But this skill and this deploy script should basically do the same thing. The second skill that we added is the LP agent that I'm still working on here. But what we imagine is that over time, there'll be many skills here added by us, but also added by the community. I'm actually planning to add one probably this weekend to just create like a deck, create a presentation with the Hummingbot branding, more just so our team can kind of just use that skill instead of having to kind of recreate the same types of like PDF files and formats that they do consistently. So there might be other skills you may want to add. Maybe there's some type of like notification you want to happen when something happens. And I think over time, we actually want the community to contribute skills as well, because each of these skills are just it's just a folder in this repo, Hummingbot Skills. So anyone can already just submit a pull request. You can submit a pull request just with the folder with your skill, and if it makes sense for the community, then we will likely merge it in. So hopefully, over time, basically anyone who's using Hummingbot can submit skills that they or other people in the community may want to use. And these skills should be automatically populated. As soon as the pull request is merged in, it'll be available in the npx skills command. As you can see, some of the, we had some test ones earlier, but yeah, the main one that we're going to focus on is this deploy skill, and we'll try to add the LP agent skill, and we'll try to create a few more over time. All right, so I think that wraps up the live stream for today. I hope you guys found that useful. So today, just as a recap, we looked at the LP the Executor, where we were able to run it in the traditional Hummingbot way, and then we also we ran the Executor using the MCP server, and then finally we ran it using the LP agent skill. So those are 3 ways to automate LP strategies on AMM DEXs. Feel free to use any of the methods, but we think that over time, I think more and more people will be doing so using the MCP server or via skills, because we're fully immersed in the AI era, and as a Hummingbot, we're busy kind of reframing the framework to make it as AI friendly as possible. So thanks, everyone. Oh, one final shout out. We are going to start incorporating this heavily into the next cohort of Botcamp. So Botcamp Cohort 13, which starts in April, will be the first cohort that will be fully AI based. So we're planning to basically start teaching you how to use AI from day one alongside Hummingbot to create AI based strategies. So for this next cohort, we're going to try to have students create an AI-based strategy. And then the last week of the cohort, we're probably going to extend it by 1 week. The last week we envision will be an AI-based trading agent competition, where once you create your agent, we'll have it basically just run them for a week, and we'll see how they all perform. So it's still we'll update that on the Botcamp website, and we'll set up an info session around the end of this month to tell you more about that. So look out for that live stream when it happens at the end of February. Well, thanks everyone. And finally, thanks to Mountain DAO. And I had a great time this week. I think Mountain DAO is absolutely the best event for builders in the Solana ecosystem. It's free. I highly encourage you guys to come to the current one if you're already here. Or join the next one in August. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you on Discord and YouTube. Bye now.